Happy Monday, meteorologist Diane Phillips here, and we have gone through that reality check. We are back to winter weather here as we have, well, some snow showers and even some rain showers coming through. Of course, our downtown cam, it's a little bit higher up, so you are also seeing some cloud cover out there, but we've seen anything from snowflakes to little small ice pellets to raindrops outside today, and we're going to hold on to that flavor of weather as we go through the later half of our Monday. As we look across the country, you can see it's a little bit more busier here, but we're starting to see the beginnings of some systems off towards our west. But what I'm watching is right here, the circulation. It's even expanding out over the Atlantic and bringing some rainfall to Florida. But coming a little bit closer to home, it has this counterclockwise rotation. So you have your low pressure that's actually located just towards the eastern portion of Lake Michigan. And as this continues to rotate, it's going to continue to spin a lot of that snow and even the edge of rain here through our area and into the Mitten State. So it's everybody here in the Great Lakes region kind of picking up on some of this wet weather, and even the reminder that spring sometimes does include a little bit of winter. Zooming in a little bit closer, I've been watching this outer band roll on by, and that at times could slow down your visibility if you're going to be out there on roadways, just because it's a little more heavier and more intense in that band. So we have this band here, but we'll still continue to see a little more of that scattered nature of the rain and snow, because it's just going to be a little more here and there. Another thing to keep in mind is the rain snow line. That is also going to come into play as well. Though we are at times seeing some snow or even some ice pellets, road conditions should not be too problematic. They should mainly just be wet because of the hot weather that we had last week. When we were talking 80s and sun, that's definitely going to have those pavement temperatures elevated. So that's why we're going to not anticipate much as far as travel impacts for your Monday. As we go throughout the day, though models are not quite picking up on that band that we have setting up just south of the metro, it is still signaling that we will have those scattered snow showers and even some rain showers. As we pick up more heat into the afternoon, finding those highs into the 40s, we will see that we have a little more of a rain mixture with a little bit more of those ice pellets and yet some snowflakes mixing in. But it's much colder today compared to the weather that we have been experiencing with those 80s. And even yesterday, we had a little bit of everything as the cold front came, tumbling those temperatures. And now we're seeing then the backside of the cold front where we're eyeing some of that snowfall. But you'll find 8, 9 o'clock, things start to settle down at best by tomorrow morning. We'll just have a few lingering flurries, but the system's going to slowly lift its way out. So as we go through the day tomorrow, you're going to find quite a bit of cloud cover, but we do see some clearing by 5 o'clock. So that should still give us about 3 hours of some sun as those clouds do start to push away. And then we'll have some nice weather to mark, well, getting closer to the middle of this week. Now, of course, today, use the WTOL 11 weather app, because you can use radar, kind of keep an eye on this band setting up, but also then those spotty showers, or even look at the broad system itself. You can zoom wide, way out, and you can see that whole system itself and know, well, this is going to be swinging into town. So have that app. It's free to download on the Google Play Store, Apple App Store, and all you have to do is search whichever store you use, the WTOL 11 weather, and it should pop up. It's free to download. You can set it on up. If you already have it, then you know how awesome all these tools are and how convenient it is to have. Now, last week when we were looking at our regional temperatures, we were one of the warmer spots. Now we're one of the cooler spots. We're sitting at 35 in Toledo, but you can see some 40s not very far away, off towards our east, off towards our south. So hopefully we can budge into some of those 40s. But as we watch the system twirl around where we've seen some of that snow, you can see that we are sitting into the 30s. Above freezing though, so that's good as far as those roadways. And if you're looking for something warm, well, you're gonna have to travel south. That's the whole point of winter and spring, of course, is that warm weather seems to be locked away towards the south. But we do have more heat coming in the forecast. Big temperature swings are gonna be on the way. Highs are gonna be around 43 today. Okay, well below average. We should be talking 60s, and we just aren't. But by the time we get to Thursday this week, we're finding highs to be towards the lower 80s. Again, we should be in the lower 60s. So we are going to be looking at a big adjustment, kind of these ups and downs. So if you don't have enough sinus issues as far as allergies from all the things that are blooming right now, these temperature swings are going to make your nose maybe not so comfortable. So just be mindful of that. And even as we go through, it's not going to be as gradual of a climb because we go into the 50s tomorrow and then we shoot up to the 70s and then the 80s. So it's going to be a little bit slow, but yet it takes a whole week to get up to 80s. It's going to be a fast adjustment, pretty mild feeling even on Wednesday with those mid 70s. And then once we get out of the 80s, you can see it doesn't last. We're going into the 60s and even some 50s here for the weekend and into next week. We are going to find that we do have a lot of these readings below average once we get into the later half of April. So you are going to find that spring, it's a little bit tricky after we were spoiled last week. Now highs today, 43 degrees, well below average as we were eyeing the rain and snow showers. It's definitely going to just be one of those chilly, dreary kind of April days where we have a little bit of winter trying to hang on, but we're getting close to spring. Westerly winds are also going to be noted, but we will shift to see those to be a little more southwesterly depending on the location of that system. Either way, plan on it at times to be a little bit breezy as you're driving out and about around town. Now the extended forecast, though we have a few lingering flurries on your Tuesday, we'll have that late sun that I was talking about, and even into Wednesday looking nice and dry. That's also when we find 74 in the forecast. Though Thursday we have 82, we are not going to monitor that rain until a little bit later in the day, and then that leads us into Friday and Saturday when we have our next system that not only plays with temperatures, but it brings some rain in for the weekend. So have the app. Of course, we'll see if we can update some of those time frames as that system gets close, but looks like Sunday nice and dry. Highs, those will be into the mid 50s, and then we go into the 60s. Now, a couple of days like tomorrow morning and even as we go into Wednesday morning, if you bought maybe some flowers during that heat that we had, keep an eye to those because we're going to find that those lows drop into the mid 30s. So just be mindful, maybe cover them up, put them in the garage, just bring them inside. Of course, if you always need to update that 10-day forecast, you can get those updates on the WTOL 11 weather app and just look to see those highs, those lows, and everything in between.